What's up, guys? Jeremy Conn here, Lowdown with Pickdawgz.com. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and also hit that notification button. It will tell you anytime one of these videos gets posted. I'm getting ready to say the thing that always is the kiss of death for me. This is probably going to be one of the shorter ones, which usually means it turns into 15 minutes. But no, time got the best of me today. I had a phenomenal weekend in Major League Baseball, and Sunday was really good to me as well. Damn near swept the board both days, 4-1 on Saturday and another winning day. So things looking really good from that standpoint. Going to wait to find out what happens to the NBA Finals, but that was my top play, was the under in the finals. So you guys can kind of see, what I'm looking at and what I buy into. It is a lighter slate on Monday. It kind of shows there's not a lot of games to pick through. So one of the games actually doesn't even have a pitcher listed on either side, but I'm going to just tell you my idea when I see games like this because we saw a couple of them this weekend. Let's just get into it. We'll start off with the Rangers and the Orioles. That's Patrick Corbin versus Trevor Rogers. It's going to be over 100 degrees here in Baltimore, and for anyone that's never been here, it does get very sticky, very humid. And it's just brutal, and it kills these pitchers, man. You're watching them. They start, if they have any inning where they're laboring at all, it feels like you're out there forever. I'm going to tell you to lean over here, even with the wind slightly blowing in about 4 to 5 miles an hour. Maybe it's a little bit more left to right. But in these types of situations, and if you watch Trevor Rogers in his last game, that was the game that the Orioles spotted him an 8-run lead. They scored 8 runs in the second inning, and he didn't even get out of the third. His first start was so good, that's why his numbers look good right now. But we don't know what type of pitcher he's going to be. He is more of a ground ball pitcher, but he has been getting some Ks here as of late. Patrick Corbin, you guys have seen him. The guy stinks, but he's still pitching, and every once in a while, he's actually looked decent this year, which is surprising, but I think he's going to have some issues in this heat, so I lean towards the over there. Let's go with Seattle at Minnesota. And so this is another one where I think the pitching matchup's solid. I've talked about Bailey Ober. He does give up some hard contact and fly balls, and the wind is blowing out at about, 9 miles an hour, around 80 degrees there. But there's something that I like to look for, especially with what we had at Wrigley this weekend. Wrigley was all win games, and pending what happens in this last game here, which I know that it's on pace to go over the total. If that goes over the total, then all of the Wrigley games went over the total this weekend with double-digit numbers that scared everyone away with the 11.5s and 12s out there. And a lot of times when teams come out of games like that, they're swinging for the fences because if you get the ball in the air, it goes out. And I see it carry over. And for a guy like Bailey Ober, who does throw a lot of those high fastballs, I could see this Seattle team, which is one of the worst teams at strikeouts in the league, I could see them having their issues here. And so I'm going to lean under. I really like this spot, even with the wind blowing out, and it's not going to be overly hot there. But and of course, if you've watched Brian Wu pitch, he can be downright nasty at times. Now let's go to Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. This is one where it's 90 degrees and the wind is blowing right to left at about 14 miles an hour. The pitchers aren't listed for it just yet, and you may say, why do I bring up this game? We had similar type of weather in Minnesota with the Twins and the Brewers this weekend. And if you watched it on Sunday, that game skied over the total. The fly balls were difficult as they're dropping in here or there. They're getting knocked down. It's hard to judge. I do think it makes it relatively difficult on the outfielders here. You got to hit the ball at the right time. Usually you get a home run. If the wind picks up, it's going to blow it one way or another. And it's also one of those things, if you get it in the air and it starts drifting, let's say it's got a little bit of tail on it, it can push it, out over the wall there for a homer. I'm not saying that's what we're looking for or expect, but I'm just saying it is weird weather when it's blowing towards one side, and it can affect the outfielders there. So it would be a spot where I would still lean towards the over there. It's 90 degrees, and if the wind changes at all, and that's something you can look at on game day, or maybe even a few hours before and see the direction that it's going in, because if it changes at all, this all of a sudden turns into an amazing hitting environment, and you'd want to be all over this game. And that's like my weather play of the day, which hit yet again. That's 4 in a row on Sunday, was the Pittsburgh Pirates over. And in that spot, you saw it kind of blew up in one inning. I was getting irritated because they had 2 runners on every single inning and couldn't get anybody home. But with the hot weather there, the ball flies out of that stadium as well. So lastly, we're going to talk about this, and this is the one I'll give the free play on. It's the Boston Red Sox at the LA Angels. 8 miles an hour out is what we have the wind at. It's the temperatures are fine in the 80s right there. Nothing that's going to be overwhelming as far as the heat goes. But with Walker Buehler and Jack Kahanowitz, who, if you've heard me talk about it, I don't think Kahanowitz is very good. In his last start, he did actually pitch well against the Yankees. I believe that was his last start last week. And he kind of kept them at bay, which surprised me. He had Aaron Judge swinging at a bunch of nonsense. So in this spot, as I'm looking at it, my free play is going to be the over. I think both of these guys can get knocked around. Both teams will run, especially Boston, and I think you can run all over Jack. So my free play is going to be on the over with the Boston Red Sox and the LA Angels. Guys, make sure you're checking out the premium plays. Like I said, I have a hard time sometimes patting myself on the back, whether you believe that or not, but I had a killer weekend. We were destroying baseball. The role that I've been on, you'll start to see it on the leaderboard. The percentages are there. Some guys bought the week-long package, and they bought it at just the right time because I'm not somebody that's typically going to give out 6, 7, 8 plays a day, but if I see a board that I like and I'm trying to cross games off and I can't find the ones that I want to cross off, I'm going to play those because I'm going to feel strongly about them. And this weekend, we had a bunch of those and we had winning days. So make sure you're checking out Pickdawgz premium plays over there with all the guys. Cappers are doing a fantastic job. So I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching.